A more recent model of corporate social responsibility is the shared value model that was developed in 2011 by Michael Porter and Mark Kramer. And they essentially argue that in the future, businesses shouldn't just look at short-term corporate success, but they should also take into account social welfare. These two components should be interrelated, and corporate success in the future can only be success if the social welfare aspect is also integrated into business activities. So this is what it would then look like. According to Porter and Kramer, companies need to reconceive products and markets, and they need to innovate and build products that actually serve a social need, rather than just focusing on short-term gains. For instance, they could do this by improving health or environmental sustainability. A good example would be a food company that sees the obesity crisis that is currently looming and therefore sets itself as a goal to develop more nutritious products that would also help in tackling the obesity and diabetes crisis. Another prominent example of reconceiving products is the ocean cleanup project that was developed in the Netherlands actually by a high school student not too long ago. And it started out as a very simple prototype, but it has currently been developed into large-scale projects that have been successful all over the world in removing plastic from the oceans as well as rivers. And this is a prime example of how businesses should look at the future by actually serving a social need. In this case, cleaning up the oceans and the rivers and therefore contributing to an environmentally friendly and sustainable future. Businesses should also look at redefining productivity in the entire value chain. This would enhance productivity and it would also boost economic and social development. This is what the value chain looks like, and we'll be diving into the value chain in more detail in later modules. But a good example of this would be a business that also adopts energy saving measures. Ultimately, this would reduce their costs, but it would also boost the sustainability efforts of this company. Once again, it's not just about short-term profits, but it's about essentially maximizing the utility of the entire value chain. And third is to enable local cluster development. In the future, according to Porter and Kramer, businesses shouldn't look at just single entities, but rather they are all interconnected, and businesses should look more closely at working together with other businesses, with suppliers, service providers, etc. And the hot term nowadays is called ecosystems, where businesses, organizations, governments, suppliers, etc., they all work together in somewhat of a loose network, all with the goal of contributing to a larger objective, ideally an objective that actually serves a social need. A good example would be an IT company that also invests in local programs to boost digital literacy skills. Ultimately, this would help them with attracting employees that are already digitally proficient, but it would also boost the development of the society in that particular community. So there are various benefits to the shared value model. It's not just about short-term profits, but this is about long-term sustainable growth and competitiveness for businesses. And ultimately, this would also enhance the reputation of the business. This would build trust among their customers who know that that business is actually honestly looking to serve a social need. It also attracts and retains talent, people that actually want to contribute to society and work for a business that has the honest goal of actually improving society in a way that they can. And lastly, it strengthens stakeholder relationships. This is not just about businesses working as singular entities, but working together in a joint fashion, all with the goal of serving social urgent needs.